Well, the labour dispute at BC Transit has moved into another week with no end in sight. An overtime ban by the unionised drivers and mechanics has disrupted service since last week. Both sides are talking, just not to each other and not at the bargaining table. Both transit and the drivers say they're open to mediation, but neither side is willing to pick up the phone to make it happen. CTV's Stephanie Sherlock reports.
It's been 10 days since the CAW Local 333 walked away from the bargaining table.
BC Transit has maintained all along that we're open to mediation.
Yes, we are willing to go to a mediator.
Despite the union and BC Transit publicly saying they're up for mediated talks, neither is willing to initiate them or budge on its position.
We're not moving on our point, but if the union has asked and requests a mediator, BC Transit will return to the table.
The problem is that one of the two sides really needs to be willing to move from its stand, and I don't see either side at this point right now being willing to move from where they stand.
The union is firm in its opposition of the new Vicinity buses destined for Victoria in the spring. BC Transit maintains it's not up to the union to decide what vehicles the company acquires. The result is a stalemate.
The Minister of Labour could direct that a mediator be appointed, and that might be the default option here, is just have the mediator appointed by the Minister, and then neither side loses any particular face or any sort of perceived strategic advantage in the negotiations.
With no immediate end to the labour dispute between BC Transit and its unionised mechanics and drivers in sight, how are riders faring? Well, here at UVic, arguably one of BC Transit's busiest destinations, riders say they're not noticing much difference.
Pretty much all I've noticed is that they're not wearing their uniforms anymore.
BC Transit provides approximately 3,200 runs a day during the week. The union's ban on overtime canceled slightly more than 1% of those today. A drop in the bucket, commuters say, isn't having that much of an impact.
They do, some of them do pass, like if it's like peak hours, I guess. But it's been like that since before the job action, so.
The union has to be very delicate in the way in which they approach this, because ultimately more significant withdrawals of service may compromise whatever public support they may have for their position.
The job action is having an effect on BC Transit's charitable efforts. A shuttle service planned for tomorrow's Super Bowls of Hope fundraiser will not happen. Stephanie Sherlock, CTV News, Victoria.